On this Ram 1500 with P0440, we're dealing with a general EVAP system failure. In plain terms, the PCM may be commanding an EVAP test and not seeing the system create or hold the vacuum response it expects. The MIL can come on, and the truck may not have much of a drivability complaint. Broadly, the fault area may be an EVAP leak, purge flow or vacuum supply issue, a restriction in the purge or vent side, ESIM orientation or switch operation, related wiring, or less often a control issue. Start with the basic system checks, then before getting deep into testing, check for any bulletins or PCM flash updates that apply to this code. If one applies, do that first, test the system, and then continue with the EVAP evaluation. The logic here is centered on the ESIM switch. The PCM runs an intrusive EVAP test during a valid cold start event, and P0440 sets when the ESIM switch does not close during the test period. For the monitor gate, the cold start conditions include ECT and AAT difference less than 10 degrees C, 19 degrees F, fuel level between 12% and 88%, manifold vacuum above a calculated minimum, an ambient temperature between 4 degrees C and 35 degrees C, 40 degrees F, and 95 degrees F. The fault condition is that vacuum cannot be created below -250 Pa within a calibrated time. For background, EVAP monitor timing can include an engine on /drive cycle for a minimum of 2-5 minutes, and the engine on timer is clipped to a maximum of 26 minutes on any given trip. After key off, there is a 12-minute delay time in which the PCM will ignore ESIM switch input, and the small leak event can run after a maximum time of 17.5 hours without an ESIM switch closure during the event. The calibrated timing called out is engine on 100 minutes and engine off 70 hours. On the hardware side, when the system vacuum reaches between -187 Pa and -250 Pa, it acts on the ESIM diaphragm and closes the vacuum switch. The ESIM signal will typically be a 12.0 volt or 5.0 volt signal depending on the vehicle, and the voltage signals can vary between vehicles and may be somewhere between 5.0 and 12.0 volts. Also keep temperature in mind. Big temperature swings can either build vacuum too quickly and hide a leak, or create vapor pressure that makes a sealed system look like it is leaking. The fuel tank pressure sensor is useful for diagnosis, but it is not what the PCM uses to determine the leak. Next, perform the manual EVAP evaluation before choosing a leak test direction. For best results, the fuel tank should be less than 95% of fuel tank capacity. During the 5 phases, document purge duty cycle, ESIM switch state, and fuel tank pressure in Pa. First, with the ignition on, vent the system to atmosphere and record the ESIM switch state and FTP reading. Second, close the system with the ignition on and engine off, using the scan tool action that includes actuating the purge solenoid for 1 minute with the scan tool. Then monitor the readings for 2-3 minutes. More than a 200 Pa change in 1 minute would indicate the system is too unstable to accurately test. Third, start the engine and record ESIM switch state and FTP within 5-10 seconds after the engine is started while the purge solenoid is off. Typically it is between approximately -25 and -50 Pa. Fourth, let purge become active long enough to create maximum vacuum and stabilize. The fuel tank pressure should drop quickly to approximately -600 Pa, then shut the engine off right away. A purge solenoid leak can show the vacuum near or below the ESIM regulation point, -500 Pa. Fifth, once maximum vacuum is stable, monitor the FTP sensor and ESIM switch readings for an additional 3-4 minutes. The FTP sensor reading should quickly return to the vacuum relief regulation point, approximately -500 Pa, then stabilize. During that final hold, the vacuum should stay below approximately -250 Pa, and the ESIM switch should remain closed for the additional 3-4 minutes of monitoring. Use the phase data to decide whether the system is actually leaking right now. If, during phase 5, the fuel tank pressure reading rises quickly near 0 or above -250 Pa, and the ESIM switch opens within the 3-4 minutes, treat it as a leak and move into leak isolation. If the expected results were reached in each phase, the system is most likely not leaking at this time. In that case, possible false failure reasons include software issues, debris that cleared from the purge solenoid or ESIM relief valves, or an ESIM that is not mounted correctly with the switch at the 3 o'clock position. Once the manual evaluation points to a leak, choose how you want to isolate it. You can test the entire EVAP system as one assembly, or you can split the system at the charcoal canister and test each side. The full system method is quicker when access is good. Splitting the system is useful when you want to know whether the leak is on the fuel tank side or the fresh air canister side before you start chasing smoke. For the whole system test, use Yield Kit 8400C. Connect the red power lead to battery positive and the black ground lead to battery negative. Connect shop air and set the smoke and air control switch to AIR. Press the remote start button, block the AIR supply tip, and if the indicator ball is not resting at the bottom of the airflow meter, set the red flag even with the ball. Then connect service adapter 1500DT to the ESIM vent hose. Connect the AIR supply tip to the adapter, start airflow, and compare the indicator ball to the red flag. Depending on fuel level or venting configuration, it can take several minutes to fill the system. If the ball drops to the bottom of the airflow meter or below the red flag, the leak is coming from the vent valves inside the ESIM because the rest of the system is not leaking. Replace the ESIM, then repeat the intrusive leak evaluation to verify the repair. If the ball stays above the red flag, the leak is not from the ESIM vent valves. At that point, find the leak elsewhere using smoke, a hydrocarbon sniffer, or a bubble test, and repair or replace the leaking component. Also check the purge solenoid for an internal leak by removing the manifold hose from the purge solenoid, filling the system with smoke, and watching for smoke through the purge solenoid. If smoke is present there, replace the purge solenoid, then repeat the intrusive leak evaluation. If you split the system, remove the canister tube from the charcoal canister, the tube that connects to the fuel tank on the other end. Attach a hand vacuum pump to the fitting on the canister, and make sure that hose connection is tight enough that it is not creating its own leak. Pump air until the ESIM switch closes, then monitor the ESIM switch state for up to 10 minutes. If the switch remains closed for a minimum of 5 minutes, the leak is on the fuel tank side. For the fuel tank side test, use Yield Kit 8400C, connect power and ground to the battery, connect shop air, set the unit to smoke, attach the black hose to the canister tube, and fill the fuel tank side with smoke. Then use smoke, a hydrocarbon sniffer, or a bubble test to locate the leak. Repair or replace the leaking component. As with the whole system path, check the purge solenoid for an internal leak by removing the manifold hose, filling the system with smoke, and watching for smoke through the purge solenoid. If smoke is present, replace the purge solenoid, then repeat the intrusive leak evaluation. If the ESIM switch does not remain closed for a minimum of 5 minutes during the split test, the leak is on the fresh air canister side. For that side, use Yield Kit 8400C with shop air connected and the control switch set to AIR. Set the red flag against the indicator ball the same way as before. Connect service adapter 8440 to the ESIM vent hose, start airflow, and compare the ball to the red flag. If the ball drops to the bottom of the airflow meter or below the red flag, replace the ESIM. If the ball stays above the red flag, the leak is elsewhere in the system, so locate it with smoke, a hydrocarbon sniffer, or a bubble test, then repair or replace the leaking component. Check the purge solenoid for an internal leak the same way. Remove the manifold hose, fill the system with smoke, and look for smoke through the purge solenoid. If smoke is present, replace the purge solenoid. Keep the verification separate from the leak hunt. After the repair, repeat the intrusive leak evaluation and confirm the EVAP system now creates and holds vacuum as expected, with the ESIM switch behavior matching the test result. The key with P0440 is not to guess at parts. Prove whether the system is leaking right now, then isolate which side of the EVAP system is responsible, and only replace a component when the test result supports it. For more diagnostic training, visit Diagnostics.com.